Okay, so you ready to go inward, onward, and inward? So we're going to talk about the Purusha now. The Purusha, onward and inward to the Purusha and the psychic being. Okay, so here we are. Here we are in our normal state of consciousness, running around in our surface nature, trying to control the various parts of our being, which are fighting and squabbling and knocking each other out. They're appearing and disappearing and morphing and blending, and there's no sense of control. And where is that supermental transformation? So right now is a good time to ask yourself, who are you?
Who are you?
I hardly know, sir. I've changed so many times since this morning, you see.
I do not see. Explain yourself.
I'm afraid I can't explain myself, sir, because I'm not myself, you know.
I do not know.
Well, I can't put it any more clearly, for it isn't clear to me.
You? Who are you?
Well.
Okay, so who are you? What's in the briefcase that shines, that sends out such a beautiful light? What's the truth of your being? Where do you find it? Because you're not who you normally think you are. You think you're the body. You think you are your emotions. You think you are your thoughts. You think you're short or tall or young or old or dyslexic or ambitious or whatever. But this feeling of who you are changes 1,000 times a day, depending on what you're doing and which of your many selves is in front at the moment. But these physical, vital, and mental parts of you are just formations of nature. You use them as instruments, but they're not who you really are. Who you really are is the soul itself, which is like a light at the center of your being, something warm and rich and very still. And this, of course, is what Sri Aurobindo calls the psychic being, the divine consciousness in you. And it's immaculate, luminous, a center of truth and knowledge and beauty. And this is your true individuality, the special mode of expression the one divine consciousness has taken in you. And when you find it, you'll know the purpose of your life, your mission in the universe, and you'll become fully conscious of your destiny. So you might ask, why is it so hard to find out who you really are? And how is it you become so identified with your outer nature? So you see the real cat behind the surface cat there? It's not too hard to figure out. Just think of what happens when you say to yourself, I'll just check Facebook for a minute. Okay, so you sit down to take a quick peek and discover that Gene Kelly danced Singing in the Rain with 103-degree fever, right? 103-degree fever. You learn that physics has now confirmed quantum entanglement. You watch some really cute dog and donkey videos. And then you move on to the history of Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding, film, and political career. And you read an article on gerrymandering, that's interesting. And you watch a video clip of Mary Poppins, and you discover what happened to the missing baby on the Titanic. And 3 hours later, you snap out of it and you wonder what happened. So for those 3 hours, you were so involved in surfing the internet, you forgot who you were. And you forgot you were supposed to be paying the bills and watering the plants, which unfortunately they're now dead. So this is what we call the power of exclusive concentration. And it is in fact a power of consciousness to concentrate itself on the work at hand. But in ordinary human life, this power of consciousness has gone terribly wrong. It can't be escaped. It can't be stopped. It's like nanotech gray goo that's gone viral all over the world. And it's trapped us all in ignorance of our own divinity. And the reason is because, back to the universe, The reason is because the same kind of exclusive concentration you experience when you surf the internet happened on a cosmic level when the separative ignorance divided the higher spiritual planes from the planes of material existence. So all nature from mind on down, and that's mind, life, and matter, the mental, vital, and physical parts of your being, is not only limited and distorted in its functioning because it's cut off from its own divine reality, but it's exclusively concentrated on what's outside and forgetful of what's inside by default. But wait, the soul inside you is like Indiana Jones, okay? And it can always get out of an impossible situation. And the fact is, you do have the power to break out of this nanotech gray goo of ignorance, because the power to focus your attention on your latest text messages is the same power you can use to break through the veil of separative ignorance. And if you learn to move your consciousness around, to mobilize it and to place it where you want, you can focus your attention like a laser beam and drill down into this larger reality. Just like Sarah Palin says, drill, baby, drill. Okay? So, behind the surface mental, vital, and physical personalities, there's a true mental being, a true vital being, a true physical being, and also your true inmost being. So all it takes to discover those inner realms is the power of attention. So if you want to find out who you really are, you have to turn your attention from out there to in here. You won't find your psychic being by Googling it. You have to go exploring inside. And so there are many ways to do this, but two of the most helpful are to concentrate your attention in the Purusha and concentrate your attention in the heart. So let's take the Purusha first. So Purusha, what kind of a word is that? Personally, I never could relate to it much. It always sounded to me kind of like some guy with a beard floating up there in the sky somewhere. But it's a lot simpler than that. All it means is, who's behind your eyes looking out? Who's looking? Who's watching? That person inside you, the one who's looking, who's watching, is the mental Purusha, your inner mental being. So remember in the last section where we were talking about going into the inner mental being? This is it. And when you become aware of it, you realize that your whole life you've had this feeling of being behind your eyes, looking out. It's never changed. That's why people feel the same at 17 and that they do when they're 45. That's the mental Purusha looking out. So I know because I first noticed it when I was 8. I was cutting out paper dolls and I said, I'm always going to remember this moment, what it feels like to be cutting these paper dolls with this pair of scissors. And I had it on my 12th birthday when I climbed on top of the hill. And I said, I'm always going to remember that, looking out. I had it when I was 15, when I dove into the water at camp. I had it when I was 39 and 45, and I have it now. It never changes. It's that sense of pure mental awareness from behind your eyes, looking out. Okay? And this is the mental Purusha. And it's unmoving and silent and untouched by the outer currents of nature. Now, it's not that hard to get a flash of it for a few seconds. The trick is to be able to do it constantly, consistently, at will, and eventually all the time, which I haven't been able to do since I was 8 years old. But my ability is improving, and I'm starting to notice that once you can really identify with the witness, you can detach yourself from whatever is happening in your surface being. This goes back to what you said this morning. You can detach yourself from what's happening in your surface being, the struggles and the storms of life, your entire outer personality. You say, I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions, I am not my body, this is not my beautiful house, this is not my large automobile. And you simply take one little step back. And all of a sudden, it's like you're in a room just behind yourself, a foot or so back, like a secret room. It's like your own fortress of solitude. And it's quiet and calm. It's a place where you can't be touched, where you're completely at peace and free. And nothing that happens can affect you because you are back there. Nothing can disturb you or hurt you in any way because you move completely out of nature into the timeless eternal. And it feels actually kind of like this. Okay? Anybody see that movie, Lucy? Yeah, she becomes super conscious. Also, and far more easily than your surface mind, this true mental being, this witness Purusha, can open itself to the inmost psychic being and to the light and bliss and peace and power of the higher consciousness, which is the beginning of self-mastery. So your actions then become more efficient and sure because your perceptions are no longer distorted. Your self-interest becomes receptivity to the divine, and you can become a better channel for the divine work. And if you can keep this peace of the witness consciousness when everything around is turbulent and difficult and maybe even dangerous, you can make it safely through and even change things in a miraculous way, like this.
If words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with.
Okay, so, you know, in your own little life, you can have experiences that kind of feel like that. And if you can identify with your Purusha, you can become, you know, like one of the X-Men. So anyway, so the one thing that makes it easier to go into this witness consciousness is quieting the mind. And we're going to try that in a minute. But to prepare us, I'd like to have you please follow the instructions on this slide. Ready? Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Okay. So now we're going to have a little meditation to help us quiet the mind and move into the mental Purusha, into a place where we can feel that peace and maybe get a touch of that witness consciousness. So it's 5.5 minutes long, and there's music with it. So you can keep your eyes open or closed as you prefer. And after that, we'll take, you know, a 1-minute break. So let yourself now be soothed and calmed and taken deep, into your inner being. you.